All right. Well, we have another incredible interview here. We have Payton Tolle from Texas Christian University. Was at Wichita State last year. Peyton, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing good, doing good. Got up, had some weights, and then now just I went to class, and then it got canceled. So now I'm just hanging out, getting ready for the next class. So
Love it. Love it. Well, we can't thank you for enough for taking some time during your busy schedule to join us. First question I kind of always kick off, just for the people who don't know you, give a little bit of background on yourself, your journey through baseball, and kind of how you got into where you are today.
yeah, so I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, little Bethany, west side of OKC. Um, Pretty much been playing baseball since I could walk, since I can remember, and played is the sport that I just always kind of gravitated to. I played football and basketball as well in high school, but it was always baseball,
Yeah.
baseball, baseball, baseball. I remember there were always times whenever I'd get done with my with football practice or basketball practice, and me and my dad would go straight to the cages, and we'd hit for an hour and then throw and then do something baseball, and it's like makes for a long day because we're doing sports for 4, 5, 6 straight hours. Just, but yeah, I mean, it's always been baseball, and I knew from I'd say a decently young age that it's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, I'd say it's working out for me, and I'm just so thankful for all the opportunities that I've been able to have, and uh, you know, it's not possible without other people. So
Yeah, I love that. I guess the first one of the other questions I have, now that you've transferred over to TCU, kind of experienced the transfer portal, what's that transition been like for you? What's some of the things that you've really been looking forward to this fall and going into next year?
yeah, I mean the portal experience was it was something else, uh, but coming here to TCU, I mean it was one of the best decisions I've ever made, and I was able to get on campus early. Got here in the summer, got to work out with most of the new guys, and then got familiar with campus and everything like that. So it was it's kind of gives you a leg up into um, going into the fall, and then you get comfortable with all the guys. So then, whenever you're in the fall, you may be 2 or 3 weeks into the fall, but you feel like you've been there for a long time, and you're playing comfortable. You're playing it the best as you can, because I believe that whenever you're comfortable, that's whenever you're playing. You're the best. So like being able to be here, the guys have been incredible. Um, like they just been so welcoming. I feel like it could be really hard. Like they could have a choice to see the transfer guys be like I'm not even gonna talk to them. Like they came here, like I've been here the whole time, but these guys have been incredible. Like they are so welcoming. They want to hang out, and just like that's the biggest thing with them is like I just like hanging out with these guys. So, but these guys have been awesome.
Yeah, you talk about the transition kind of right, developing those relationships with your teammates. Talk a little bit too about working with that TCU staff. That's absolutely stacked. You have Kirk Sarloos, you have TJ Bruce, who was the head coach at Nevada at one time. You have
Mm,
Dave Lawn, who's been on I don't know how many championship winning teams. I've heard so many great things about Dave Lawn and the person that he is. But
oh yeah.
talk about having that group of coaches around you as you kind of try to develop your game.
Oh yeah, they're incredible. Bruce just he pushes everybody, and it's one of the. I think he's such a great coach, but he wants so much out of us
Yeah,
that it pushes you, and like it's not like he's just gonna scream at you the whole time. Like he just wants to push you, and he knows that you're he knows that you're better than what you're doing. So like, come on, we can do this. Like we can do better than this. So I love that. I love the way he coaches. Sarlos is, I mean, he's an amazing, amazing person. Like, just not even talking about baseball stuff. Like, he's an amazing coach, but just a real person. And like you meet him, and the first impression of him is real. Like, it's what you're getting. And I think there's something really unique about that, and really like he's just so authentic. And then Coach Lon, he is amazing. Like he is just a ball of energy all the time, and I think it's really cool to walk because being a new guy too, like being able to see him come in, I'm like this guy, he's gotten comfortable with everybody now. Like he's showing up to the field and he's like, all right, let's go. Like, what are we doing today? Here we go. So he's so fun to have around and just a goofball. But this coaching staff is elite, and Coach Delora too, pushing everybody. Like it's an elite coaching staff, and so I'm super thankful for the opportunity to be able to learn from these guys.
Yeah, I did baseball operations at the University of Nevada, Reno, and Lon was there under Jay Johnson when Jay Johnson was there for a couple of years before he went to U of A. My buddy Ray McIntyre coached underneath both Lon and Johnson. He said it was just like one of the most incredible experiences he's ever had. I mean, those guys are just incredible. Tyler, I'll turn it over to you if you got some questions.
Yeah, and I was really about to bring up the fact that you worked under him. But no, like the biggest thing for me is like obviously you're a two-way. Is there any part of that you prefer? Like, do you prefer being a bat? Do you prefer being an arm, or do you just enjoy doing both of them? Like,
I think that this might be. I think I've answered this question 3 or 4 times a week the past year, and it's that's not a bad thing at all. Like, I love this question because I just say like. It's really fun striking people out, but it is really fun hitting balls hard. And I couldn't pick one. If somebody put a gun to my head and said, you have to pick one, I couldn't do it. I can't. I love both too much. And like, they're going to have to tell me like, all right, this is what we're doing. Like, I won't be able to decide myself because it's so much fun. So, but yeah, I mean, once again, so thankful that I get the opportunity to do that. And that's something that going back to Wichita, like they gave me the opportunity to do that. Coach Pelfrey is somebody that was like, we're gonna give you this opportunity to compete with this, and you'll be able to run with it. And we worked on it there, and then kind of got to the point last year where we were doing both all the time, and then to be able to have the opportunity here at TCU to do it is amazing as well. And they've been all on board with it, and making sure practice plans and everything like that. Like, I'm able to make sure I'm doing both and working on both equally. So it's been good, and it's been an amazing experience. So I mean, just so think that, and I think Mom likes it too because she can watch every day instead of just one day if I'm pitching. So
love that. The question is though, would you strike yourself out? Do you think you could get a knock off yourself?
I don't know. I've said if I had 4 at bats, I just go 2 for 4, and with 2
bombs.
for 4. Maybe a bomb and a single with 2 strikeouts or something like that. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know how I would know that with the whole win reality, and maybe put myself in VR and see what happens. But I don't know.
Yeah, you can get like the pitching machines now that can like get your exact spin, exact velo. You just gotta put one of those up there and see if you can hit off of it.
Just like casually hit a bomb like 120 off yourself.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask this though, just because like there are a ton of two-way guys that have been succeeding at the level like you have been. Like Cagliano is a prime example of a guy that's done the exact same thing. Do you by any chance happen to look up at any players like that have done that, or is there like anything that you kind of like pride yourself on with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that with the rise of two ways with like Shohei obviously being like the two-way, it's been something that people have been more open-minded to, I think. But that's not to say like it's been a thing in college for a while. But I still think it's becoming more of a like people can be like Jack at Florida, like can be elite at both. But I mean, as far as like looking up to somebody with it, like I really didn't like look up to any two-way guy. Like I grew up with watching those. This is gonna sound like I'm a bandwagon now, but I grew up with those 2011, 2012 Rangers. So like I watched the old David Murphys and Mitch Morelands and CJ Wilson. So like I would just kind of look at those guys and think, oh, I could be like them, but then just do both. So
Yeah, you talked about it being in the college game for a while. I old enough now that I was at Arizona State back in 2010. Jordan Swaggerty was the backup catcher to Austin Barnes, and he would basically come out, catch Sunday, and then if he had to close, he'd go in and close the game throwing like 97, 98 off the bump. It was insane just to watch.
Yeah.
He'd hit it like a tank, and then he'd come out in the 8th or 9th inning and just shut everybody down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like Grant Nipp at Campbell now because they decided to put him out in the mound during fall ball and he'd pop 98 and we're like, okay, yeah, he's good.
Love it. So yeah, I guess the other question that I have too is we always kind of like to learn about the players behind the humans behind the players. So what are some of your passions away from the game? What do you like to do when you're off the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of like hobbies and stuff, it gets hard just because like baseball takes up so much time. But like I've picked up golf and I'm not good at all, but my mom was a college golfer. So every time we go out to golf, I'm like, it's in my blood. Like I'm going to be good today because my mom was good. But I mean, other than that, like really, like I don't have a whole lot that I do. Like I really like just spending time with family. Like this is kind of just a little side note, but 7 years ago, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So then like that kind of changed perspective on everything. So like I really value family time.
Yeah.
And like any time that I can spend with them. So if I have a weekend off, I might go run up there and hang out with them. Or brother also huge into sports. So we're watching football or something like that. So a lot of what we do in our free time has to do with sports, but at the end of the day, like the biggest thing for me is just hanging out with other people, hanging out with family.
Yeah. How far are you from home now?
Just only about 3 hours.
That's not too bad. Easy drive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kind of depending on this DFW traffic, but I got out of here one weekend Friday at 5:00, and that was the worst mistake that I've had in a long time.
Oof.
So, but yeah.
Oh yeah, this is where I'm glad I live in Raleigh and traffic's not terrible for most of the week.
Yeah.
I live outside of DC. It's always bad.
Oh, you got the
terrible.
You got the absolute worst. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not great. Not a good place. Tyler, do you have any questions? I got one more, but I'll let you turn it over to you if you have a few more you want to ask.
I'm just trying to think because, like, obviously being OKC, growing up, Rangers, we had a guy that used to work with us last night actually joined them this year and won a ring. So I wanted to give shout out to Jackson first off. Go, buddy. I guess another thing, like, growing up with Oklahoma weather, this is like a weird question on my part because of the fact that like I hate tornadoes and worst thing in my opinion. Did you ever experience any growing up, or is it just like you got to avoid it for the most part?
Oh, I mean, living in Oklahoma, you can't really avoid it. Luckily, I was never in a situation where like we were hit by one, but we definitely had like our times where mom was like, all right, get in the closet, like we're staying in the closet. You're sleeping there tonight. Like it could get bad, but I mean, yeah, we get April and May, and there's 3 or 4 tornadoes a year. So, but it's Oklahoma weather is so extreme. There's nothing predictable about it. So, but tornadoes, I mean, yeah, they're scary, but I think my dad has put it in my brain that they're cool to look at. So whenever they happen, it's let's get in the car and go watch it.
Doing the opposite of what Tyler's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I run away from them first off. I've seen one and I was like, nope, never again. Nope.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're scary, but yeah, Dad he's just a daredevil when it comes to that kind of stuff. So
yeah, see, I'll do that with a hurricane just because it's like,
yeah,
I'm used to it at this point. Now, if you put me in a tornado, I'm gonna scream like a child.
Yeah.
The last question I got for you is just looking into the 2024 season. What are your goals for this year? I know you've got things like the MLB draft and like that on your head, but also probably trying to get to a College World Series with TCU. So what are some of the big goals for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that right now, like the biggest thing is just like all of our eyes are set on Omaha. Like that's something that I really like about being here is that it's like that's always the goal and that's always a reality. And I love that. And I think that a good goal also is like Big 12 championship. Being a Big 12 champion is huge, and obviously that'll set you up well for the postseason. But other than that, like all the goals that we have, very team-oriented goals. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just how are we going to get to Omaha? Like, what do I have to do to make us the best? So whether that's starting pitching, whether that's DHing, playing first, wherever that is, what can I do to get us there? So nothing. I haven't really set out the old individual goals. I'll try to sit down before the season starts and write those out just so I can look at them all the time. But right now it's just focusing on working every day and focusing on what I can do to help this team get better and be the best that we could possibly be come May and June. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, Payton, this has been awesome. We can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. Wishing you nothing but the best, you and everybody at TCU, and hoping to see you guys in the College World Series this year.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I love this. So.